So do you address prompts in a different way?
Well, it's basically you need to treat this in the same way that you will be treating financial reporting with a lot of layers and controls, right?
I
You don't
see.
trust anything. I start with I don't trust anything. So how do we know that it makes sense what I am getting here? So it's kind of the same. And that will be the short answer. We can go in more colors. But the idea is also when I was saying that one does the task and the other is the manager, you have also challenging, right? I mean, I am getting this, how do you get this, etc. But the thing is, one of the things that people need to understand is that they need to feel comfortable that what you know now is going to change in 3 months. So it's not that, oh, I learned how to work with artificial intelligence or build this agent and I'm done. No, excuse me, this is going to change. And that's a problem for humans because all of us, we have a Homer Simpson inside that just wants to outsource the boring part of our work and then go and enjoy, right? Have a beer or enjoy with the friends with a coffee chat. So that's the problem. It's not that you do it once and done, it's that you have to feel comfortable on that it's a continuously moving environment that you need to continue, or you are in or you are out.
And we'll continue with advice for people that are moving or are just starting, mostly focused on sustainability and supply chain. However, I wanted to take a little bit of a different direction right now.
Mhm.
And sustainability we experienced that the KFI has a major gap. And the gap, when you look at the supply chain, all the sustainability reports are vertical, are company by company by company. This is what the regulator claims they want. But when you do a second analysis, exactly as you said, you look again at the data, you see a horizontal aspect. You just mentioned at the beginning, scope 3, for instance, that comes from the supply chain. So a lot of the data comes from the supply chain. Now, if you are a supplier, and that was our research with interns and students at the KFI, was when you have multiple customers as a major supplier, then you have a complexity problem on top of the data problem. They ask for different data, as you said at the beginning, different formats. One it's in pounds, one it's in kilograms, one it's in tons, whatever, and not metric tons, by the way. There are different tons. How do you address this kind of complexity from the previous discussion with, so now your agents have to be experts also in sustainability and in the supply chain, go deep into the
Exactly. So it's going back. It's not a one size fits all. What I think that it's important is that one thing is the methodology and then the different use cases. You're bringing a very important topic that is the horizontal view, right? In financial services, we had standards forever, right? The SWIFT institution with the payments. So there was a very clear framework of what people or what banks should be transferring when there is payments between banks, payments between countries, etc. So the rules of the game are clear. That's not happening in supply chain. And that's becoming a problem because there is a problem of mistrust. People don't want to share that with other competitors, right? And then there is also the problem of mistrust because I'm not sure if what I am reporting is correct. And here is where the AI and the agents are playing a very important role because it will be the way that you can share it more anonymously way without you having, it's going to help bridging that gap. But if I have to say where the industry should go or hope that goes over the years, I think that we need some standards across the industry like we have in the payment industry as well in sustainability. And I think that we are going to be there.
I didn't share that with you. So you are just talking about our main project, which we call it the Sustainability Transaction Standard.
Mhm.
And actually, don't start with AI, we don't start with data, we start with the relationship between humans. Because
Mhm.
before everything, you need to have a human agreement, a trust at the human level before you can establish a trust at the interconnection level, if you want the machine to machine data exchange and so on. And of course, there are many issues related to privacy,
Mhm.
to company secrets, right? Not necessarily if you are in supply chain, you don't want to disclose cost data to your customer because that's, the customer can quickly calculate the margins and figure out they can,
Mhm.
shave another whatever percent of the transaction. So there are multiple facets of this data. And again, I like your model of taking the analysis and breaking it down in small pieces and understand each piece. We start actually to say, look, before we even talk about data, we should talk about humans establishing this kind of relationship. And one aspect we notice as well is the flow of data.
Mhm.
So current supply chain agreements are actually pretty much contractual agreements of delivery, especially for goods
Mhm.
and services actually. So there is not much demand on producing this data that is needed for sustainability. Scope 3 is one example, right? The country of origin or the amount of labor or the kind of labor that one goes into a product was not requested before. And now the sustainability requests this data and requests the transfer to happen. If you think of data flow, you need now a data flow in the opposite direction. It's like a
Mhm.
river falling, following one path, and now you need one on the other direction to feed this reporting and financial kind of data that we discussed at the beginning.
You're spot on. It's like the chain of command. You need to go all the way up, like all the flow needs to be totally mapped up. This is also that something that we are doing for my customers. Like, where is the data coming up all the way up, like the flows, automatic flows.
Mhm.
But then when we talk about like the fundamental point about the trust, look, I mean, why you should be doing that, right? What's the incentive for me to trust this other company? What? Very easy, because you can transform this like there are two ways. One is because what your company stands for.
Mhm.
It's more important than ever the ethics of a company has, in the same way that you and I were raised with certain values and you transmit those values, etc. Those values in the companies are more important than ever, because this is going to attract the type of people that you want in the future, and then also transform that into a competitive advantage. The ones that start earlier can influence more how the industry is evolving, and not only that, be more ready. Because to your point, now you need to go with all the point up, like the chain of command, where is the difference, but now it's now what is required. If you're already prepared, it's not a problem for you. However, if you don't do your homework, what's going to happen? That you are playing catch up, and it's just a cost when it could be a strategic advantage for your company.
And still staying focused on sustainability and
Mhm.
supply chain, actually, we determine there are even costs associated with. So why you're doing it, okay, you can do it because you believe in protecting the environment or the work, the stakeholders, the working force, and so on. But on the other hand, if you ask to do it 10 times with 10 different questionnaires, 10 different reports, 10 different purposes, you start to add the cost and you realize that it's your margin as a supplier, or maybe the cost should be transferred in the price to the customer. So there is a whole element of that. Recently, there is a standard that starts to take hold also on waste management. And
Mhm.
they go back on the supply chain to attribute the cost to the initial packager instead
Mhm.
of the consumer or the end customer paying for disposing of the packaging. They want to force the supplier to start to think about packaging that is lower cost to dispose of. So it's a whole trend in the industry that and this, I don't think this transfer of costs had been really discussed. Usually companies say, no, we don't want to incur more cost, please relax the standards. But I think it's also happening through the finance industry, through the packaging industry, through the insurance industry. These start to emerge in different shapes and forms. So exactly as you said, if the companies do not take a proactive role, and I'll go that into a second, they find themselves shortchanged. And when I'm saying that is we dealt with companies that say, oh, we are in this region and this region doesn't have sustainability standards. And you say, okay, so are you exporting to other regions? Let's take US. Do you do business in California? Sure we do. Which law do you think it applies, or New York in this case? Do you think it's the law of Louisiana applying to you, or the law of Texas, the law of California? And of course, the law of California applies. California requires sustainability. Sustainability requires data from supply chain. And here you are, a mid-sized supplier that you find yourself short because you cannot ship to California because they ask you for data you didn't collect, you don't have it. It's too late to make it up.
No, you're totally spot on. The way that I think about sustainability is the way that, or how it's going to be evolving, is the same, similar to financial services. Let's have to think about ESG sustainability, not more a nice to have, something to present to the board or to talk publicly in your annual report. It's going to be like a leg, I think, from the financial service, because there is, again, like not going back to the point at the beginning, right? From financial institutions, from insurance companies, to also, it's basically, it's costing you money directly or indirectly. You're measuring more or less, but at the end of the day, we have to think that it's going to be severe regulation or heavy regulation as we are seeing in financial services.
And there are actually, Maria, in European Union, at least I'm more familiar with the double materiality requirements, which follow the financial standards.
Exactly.
The financial standard board, I think it's one of the main board behind the standards for financial reporting for sustainability, right? Double materiality. So companies definitely, and now I think even more important, this financial reporting, as we established before, was company by company. Now you depend on the quality of data that your supplier provides you with. On one hand, you have liability. On the other hand, you have to have trust or a better understanding about not only the business of the other company, of your supplier, but also help them to collect the data, the analysis, and so on if they need to.
Absolutely. And here comes one of the themes that have been going underneath all the time, that it's critical thinking. It's not just, oh, my supplier provided it to me. You need to have enough knowledge just to know what good looks like. And the problem that right now a company that has not started or is not taking seriously the ESG efforts is that the first time that you see a number, you don't know if that's your emission correct. Maybe yes, you Google, you see companies my site in my industry, what is the standard, how I am. But the idea here is that you need to understand what good looks like when you have a problem, when something smells wrong, right? In the same way that that's in other areas of your business, the same expertise you have to develop in the sustainability in your company.
Absolutely. I see it the same. And I see it also, you're looking from a different lens, if you want. If you think of critical thinking, system thinking, if you want, you're looking from a different perspective at the same thing. At the end, whatever aluminum, let's say it's aluminum is the same you're buying for 10 years from that company. But suddenly you have to start to ask, where is it produced? Is it electricity use? Which kind of electricity? Is it gas furnace or anyway for in the process? This kind of deep knowledge, and I feel, we just scratch the surface as we go into that, and that's the reason I really I'm very happy to hear from you about this kind of analysis that goes top down, right, as you mentioned, and it can go into that level of details
Mhm.
in
Mm.
you need to go deeper into your suppliers, and it will change the dynamics as we discussed, right?
Mhm.
Because the trust before was defined by the, you have a constant good quality. I don't need to do quality inspections on every batch you
Mhm.
send it to me. I don't need to do, I know that you are delivering on time, right? You have
Mhm.
resources, you have the size, and so on. And now that changes to a different relationship. I need to trust that you're telling me, you collecting the right information and you sharing the right information about your processes, and this is very different. It's a
Mhm.
different world. It feels to me different. Maybe you can share how it feels to you, is your experience in supply chain and finance and data and AI, of course.
It's so nice because both of us we were at the Manifest conference in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. That I think that everybody that is watching it
Yes.
knows Manifest is one of the largest supply chain conference in the world. But I think that what is important is that all the topics that you mentioned were kind of the themes that they were over there, like, right? I mean, in almost every one of the keynotes, in every one of the sessions that attended, with every one of the participants that I discussed, it was coming in some shape or form, any one of these topics, right? And at the end of the day, there were two, I think, that it was like the underlying, right? I mean, people can like the underlying thing, and one was like, okay, we have all this data, we have created all this, but how do I know if my data is correct, right? I mean, that was like the point number one. We have all this. And the second thing is that customers, they don't want an AI separated from their systems. Let me explain. People have invested in their, sorry, companies have invested in their systems, ERPs, oracles, etc. So it's not that they are going to strike that out and bring something new. No. What they need is like AI agents that work with existing data they have, like kind of a quality level kind of on top. So I think that mixing that up with what we were discussing, like with the themes in Manifest, I think that it's if you ask me like how I see supply chain, or this is what I think that it's in people's mind, and this is what is like people are working towards to solve and to fix.
No, absolutely. And actually, we were invited by our partner, the ICA, the Institute for Supply Chain Education Association, and we were in a panel with them as well. And actually, what we detected, because of my background in digital transformation, is like you are asking now AI to do what you didn't do in digital, or you didn't finish in your digital transformation. It mentions, yeah, I put the data in the ERP and I left it there and I back it up and I make sure it's secure, right? So nobody has access to it. Uh, so what? Is that the right data? I'll go through sales data, for instance. I know from my experience in high-tech industry that the sales data needs a magnifier glass to really realize that it's accurate, correct, and reflects the total reality of the transactions. And we've seen that at Manifest as well. It's like companies are saying, "Okay, we'll rush into AI. Close your eyes, and the AI will do it for you." It's like you didn't finish digital transformation.
Absolutely. It's like the example that I was putting with the Homer Simpson. It's like, oh, it's going to do this boring task. I'm not going, excuse me.
Finish
It's
as
not like that. It's not like that. And I think that what we are going to see is that I remember my father-in-law, for example, he worked in the same company all his life. And he evolved with the company, and that was the typical thing. So coming from Spain, everybody was telling you, oh, be a good employee and you will start in a company and you're going to retire. I'm sorry, this is not the reality that is happening today, and it's not the reality that is going to happen. Every big company is going to require less people, better trained, but less people. What is going to happen is the following, like the domain expertise is going to come up with, I think that it's going to be like similar at what it used to be many years ago, that smaller companies, middle-sized companies, expert companies, experts there, that they are solving a specific problem. So the people that really are problem solvers, that they have a very good solution, that they are on top of things, oh my God. It's like having superpowers because the new technology just gives you these superpowers. But if you are just wanted to have something to do your job, then I'm sorry, you are totally replaceable. So I think that the mindset of how do you want the AI to be used is giving a good sense of where is your job going to be, or you is going to be in 5 years from now, in one way or the other.
Absolutely. And, I worked in high tech. I know two companies where they said,
Mhm.
we're going to, take care of our employees. You are here for employment for life. Just be good to us and we'll be good to you. Well, one company is no longer in existence. I won't mention it. But was one of these telecom companies, very innovative until the market changed from one system to another. Internet came into existence and pretty much changed the ball game. Another company was led by a CEO that said, we never fire anybody. False.
Exactly, because now it has changed. Like even if when they said it, probably they meant it. It's just
Sure.
that if they meant it, it's just that the dynamics are changing so fast. So, and you as an employee, you have to think, okay, no, don't wait for your company to train you. Don't wait for that. It's just how my market value is going to increase.
Then, we definitely want to continue the conversation, but we're coming to the point where to ask, what's your advice for students, new grads? We do have in AKFI, we operate really with very talented interns, new grads and students. And do you have any particular advice for them, as well as maybe reinforcing the advice you give to people that they are in the mid-career? And as you said, for 10, 20 years, they stayed with the same company, pretty much the same job, just moving a little bit up on the scale. Uh, what are your two pieces of advice?
One, sustainability is a very good place to be for what we are saying. It's not one of those areas that it has been defined the same way over the past 50 years and it's going to stay. No, it's dynamic, it's going to be reinventing, and there is only one way that it's going is up and growing. So I think that first of all, if you're interested in the space, you are good. That will be my main thing. And then second thing is like critical thinking and critical thinking. Think about what I was saying about the GPS telling you one way, like you have to know what good looks like, what don't tell. And the other thing that goes with critical thinking is also like, don't wait for people to tell you what to do. Be proactive, right? I mean, I think that it's so amazing when you have people in your team that they are not only what you ask them to do, but also about like, hey, you asked me about these three things. What about this fourth one? You look at them about like, huh, I like it. So be that person.
So how How do you define critical thinking? I know, of course, I have my own definition, but mine connects primarily with curiosity. In your example, it's like,
Mm.
okay, you have AI now, you have ChatGPT, you can ask, you can get as much information as you want. So that's how I see critical thinking intersecting with curiosity. But how do you see it? How do you think about it?
So not that different as you are seeing it. I think that it's more like a way of being. Like it's not something that, oh, I'm going to develop my critical thinking skills. No, you have to develop them since you were a little kid, right? Like question things. Because well, I used to be in a boarding Catholic school, and I had a lot of problems because I was challenging a lot of. I was asking so many questions. So that can give you a sense about like because somebody tell me that one thing is this way. I'm like, but so why? It's not that I need to understand why you're saying this, right? And look always for the counter argument. For me, it's a mix of curiosity, but also don't just eat up what they are giving you. Today, I think that it's more important than ever with all the fake news, with like in the past, like 40 years ago, there were like very few TV channels. So fake news were basically monopolized, right, by the big media
Sure.
outlets. Now it's a democratization. You can have fake news everywhere. So at the end of the day, but the critical thinking has not changed. It's just when you are looking at a new or when you're looking at some problem or some solution, you have to think, hold on a minute, what's underneath? What is going on that I don't see here? Not just take the headline, right? Try to understand what are the other connections.
The pieces. No, that's an excellent example, and absolutely is the other side, the other part of critical thinking is like, if this doesn't sound right to me, doesn't look right to me, doesn't taste right to me, um, ask why. Ask yourself why. Ask somebody else why. Your example of the school board, and don't take the answer because this is the way we have been doing it forever, right?
Oh, I love it. I love it. The thing is that because it has been always this way, I'm like, okay, so let's change it.
Well, so from today's conversation, I really, first thing I would like to invite you back. Second, I think the key message is don't be Simpson. You know,
Exactly.
don't think that your job of learning, your job of changing, ended up somewhere when you have the first, second, or third degree on your in your hand or on the wall.
Mhm.
Again, I would like to invite you back, Maria. Was an excellent conversation, and I would like to thank you and thank you for taking the time to visit with us today. I like to address our audience to make sure to tune in every week for a new episode of the Actionable ESG Talks series. I'm sure you'll gain new perspectives on how to uh, uh, put together and create value by integrating ESG and digital transformation, and as
Mhm.
we deeply went today, AI as the new technology. So until the next week, goodbye from Manuel.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. It was a pleasure, Manuel.